Hey Zoe, how you doing? I'm Catholic, if that's what you're asking. I will definitely send up some prayers for your sister. Okay, not a problem, Zoe. We're just going to wait a few minutes to see if other people are going to join us. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, that can be extremely difficult. Hi, Wendy. We're just going to wait a few more minutes. Sorry it took me so long to get it started. I just couldn't figure out how to go on live without going through Google Hangouts. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of a research on that next time, because it's picking up Google Hangouts instead of regular YouTube. Yeah, you may have to send messages in through the police department or the Salvation Army to see if they can find out where she's at. Hi, Sherry. Welcome to my live stream. Trying this on my own. So usually I have 4 or 5 people in here with me, but tonight I'm by myself. So there is going to be a little bit of a lag because I am using Google Hangouts. It wouldn't go through the regular. Yeah, there might be a lot of interference, Zoe. So especially if there's, if they're reserving it for emergency use only. So we're going to wait a few more minutes to see if anybody else wants to join us. I've got just some Halloween pocket letter that I have done for swap for some of my Canadian people, and I've got stickles all over it. Hence the reason why it's on a craft mat at the moment, so that the stickles can dry, and then I'll be putting it into a pocket letter so that I can send it out this weekend. So how's everybody doing today? We are doing all okay? Got to hear it. So I'm just going to take and put this away for the moment so it can finish drying. And that way I can get started with showing you guys this box. Now I am making dinner at the same time, so my timer will go off in a little bit, and then I'll just have to turn the chicken. So that's cooking at the moment. But I think I still got about a half an hour to go before I got to do that. Oh, yeah, you were telling me about that, Wendy. So to give you an idea of what I've created, I did post this on my Facebook, but I did want to give you guys an idea. And again, I'm waiting for Google Hangouts or YouTube or whatever to catch up with me so that I can show you guys this box. But basically, what I did is I went looking for an answer because I wanted to try. Hi, Kathleen. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to try making a album inside of a box, and I wanted the ones where You make the box and then you pull the book out. But I couldn't really find any instructions on it, and I haven't really had time to go scour the thrift stores and or Value Village here in Canada to see what I could find. So I decided to look for an answer on YouTube, and I found this wonderful lady. Her channel's called Your Book of Memories, and the actual video I watched is called Album in a Box. Basically what she did is she took the measurements and she built the box herself, and then took paper and created the pages for the inside of the box. I'm not very good at building boxes. So instead of that, what I did is I took a ready-made box from the dollar store and altered it. And what I'm going to show you today is how to alter the box. So basically, I will show you what I've already created, and then I'll show you how I did it. So basically, this box measures approximately 8 by 10. Just a little bit over 8. And just a little bit over 10. But what you want to do is you want to cut the pages down so that when you open and close the box, you have plenty of room inside of there to add embellishments or paper clips or whatever the case you may be, and still not interfering with opening and closing the box. So if you open it up, it's not decorated because this is going to go into an auction coming up at the end of October and one in the beginning of November. So the Divas are going to be having an auction at, I think it's October 31st. And then Spanky's Corner is going to be having an auction on November 3rd. So both of those are going to be featuring these boxes. And hopefully we're going to offer one as a kit that is unembellished so that you can choose your own with paper pack as well as an ephemera pack so that you can decorate it all yourself. So opening it up, just to give you a walkthrough, basically, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there is magnetic tape that I put on the outside of the box, and there are magnetic coins on the inside of the box, and that'll be all decorated and covered over with the paper that you use. So going through the box itself, and I'm not sure how well my camera is picking this up. Can you guys see the box okay? Hi, Susan. Can you guys see the box okay? Is it, or is it too close in? There, now I've got a better. Yep, Sherry, this is really easy. It's not that difficult at all. I basically took an idea from Your Book of Memories and when she made the album in a box, and make it that way. Or these boxes, the two that I've got made, we are going to, one of them is going to be offered in the auction for Emily's for the Divas, and the other one is going to be offered in an auction with Spanky's Corner, one at the end of October, one at the beginning of November. So I'll be setting those out in the next couple of weeks so that she'll have it. Yeah, it's a bit close, but I'm also going to be taking commission orders. As to the cost, I don't know. It all depends on what kind of paper you ask for or what kind of a box you ask made and how big it's going to be, because it's all going to depend on how much the shipping is going to be. So going through the box, the first one I did was a tag insert. And basically, as you can see, there are 3 different tags that I made for it. And again, they're not made right now. It's just square. I still have to cut the corners, do the hole punch and everything. I was just testing it out to see if it would, and it slides in and out really easily. And it has like a little pocket on the inside. So it's really, really close, so that it easily slides in and out, especially when you've got it decorated and everything. So if you turn it over, if you flip it over, it has another pocket, and there's going to be a glue buggers. There's going to be another tag that's going to be made for this inside section. And then I'm going to close it up with probably some string and buttons. So onto the first page, you have the first page is pretty thick because what you've got is a flip, another flip, and then two more flips inside. So you have 2 pages, and basically it opens and closes as a big, huge sheet, but it'll be individual areas that you can put it in. And then if you go to the side here, you've got a pocket that opens up that you'll be able to put things into. Onto the second page, you've got a pocket on the left, and then the right has a flip page, another flip page, and a pocket at the top. The third page is a flip page, and then you've got 2 big, huge areas to work in. You've got a tuck spot as well. They are all glued and taped in with scrapbooking tape so that everything is pretty much really sturdy. The other thing too is I did not use lightweight cardstock. It's all heavyweight. It is 110-pound heavyweight from Michaels. And I will show you the packaging. Because I tried with 65-pound and it basically fell apart. It was really, really flimsy. So when I went back and looked at the video, the lady that I learned this well basically recommended anywhere from 80-pound paper and up. Michaels only carries 65 or 110. So about the 110, and actually is really nice. So it takes the creases and the marks really well. So this is the kind that I'm using, and it's in white. They do have it in cream and in black, and those ones are going to be as well, going to be making one of each of those books as well. So on to the next page. So we are now on, so you got 1, 2, 3. So on the 4th page, you've got the tuck. Moving over, you got another tuck on both sides. This is interchangeable, by the way, guys. You can, if you're making it on your own, you can pick and choose where you want to put the tucks, where you want to put the flips, you know, how you want to put the envelope section. You can put it at the top, you can put it at the bottom, on the side. It's totally up to you. I'm just going to show you how to do it, but then you're going to have to work out, you know, all the different ways unless you're buying a commission piece. This insert here is an envelope. I haven't glued it down to the page yet because there's not very little room. There's very little room between the 2 sides, and I wanted to put a background page on it first before I glued down the envelope. So it's just kind of in there loose right now. The next page itself is, it's got a belly band on it. So, and it always is about 1/6 to 1/4 from the edge of the paper so that it doesn't interfere with when you flip the pages over. The next one has a flip at the top with the belly band underneath it. And then next page has a flip page again. Oh, no, this one I put an envelope. So it's got an envelope on it. So you'll be able to tuck things in there, or there'll be another page that you can insert something like this. Just insert it in here, like a big, huge tag that you can basically be able to pull out. That's what these are made for. And then the next one is just a flip up and down with a big, huge area where you can either put journaling or a picture or whatever the case may be, with a another flip, double flip on the other side. And the last page has an envelope where you can just basically tuck in, you know, small things. It's a little bit tight, so I may have to loosen that up a bit, and you can tuck it in. And basically the way the box closes is, and it's stuck to my ruler, you just basically pull up the sides, the 2 sides first, hold the box, close in the flaps, and everything is basically tucked in nice and tight. I'm probably going to still put in a ribbon on it because the area, the space between the magnets and the top of the box didn't quite work. So I'm going to have to do some finagling to try and figure out how to fix that a little bit better. But that's basically it. So what we're going to learn today is how to put this together. So timer on the stove just went off. So ladies and gentlemen, please give me a minute and I'll be right back. Put it down. Yeah, my dog decided it was going to be free supper. Don't think so. Not yet. So I have a slightly smaller box that I am going to be working on today, but I'm actually making chicken. I've got fresh chicken in the oven, and I've got rice made from a couple of days ago that we didn't finish eating. So I'm going to reheat that up and with fresh chicken, and there's supper. Okay, so this is a box that I had made a couple of days ago, but I realized when I decided to come on live to show you how to do it, it had already been done. So what I'm going to do is I've got another box that I want to work with. So I'm going to start that off, but the colors weren't right for what I want to put on it. So I am going to close this up, and I just wanted to show you the paper pack that I found in my stash today. And basically it's a fairy paper pack, and I have lost track of the envelope at this point. It's in my stash somewhere. I'm not quite sure where it went. Okay. When I find it, I'll let you know what it is. But basically, it's all different fairies. There's about 5 or 6 copies of this one. There's these ones. There are these ones. And basically, all the way through the book, you can see it's like, I'm not sure what kind of paper it's printed on, but it's a little bit of a, it's not a glossy, but it's not quite a matte. I'm thinking a semi-gloss is what it was printed on. So I'm thinking I could use this paper pack in throughout the book and use that as the background paper on top of the cardstock, and it won't make it too thick. So just giving you an idea. That one's actually pretty. It's with the 2 fairies side by side. And there's that one. And pretty much, so there's about, I would say 40, 50 images, if not more. Okay, here's the cover. It is called Midnight Fairies, and it's by, okay, I can't read that. Hunky Dory Crafts. It's in the UK, and it is www.hunky, H as in Henry, UNKYDORY crafts.co.uk. And it's called The Little Book of Midnight Fairies, and it has 144 pages of elegant flowers, fairies, and it's featuring 24 different images. So there's plenty to go around throughout the whole book, especially since the book itself only holds about 10 pages. The flips and tucks might make it a bit more, but still there's going to be quite a bit of it. Okay, and there goes my phone. All right, so what I did is I had another box from the dollar store, and I didn't like the colors, and I ran out of white tape, white duct tape. So what I did is this afternoon is I kind of took it apart and I painted it with purple gesso. I made my own. I took all the reds and the blues that I had and pretty much mixed it up dark enough until I reached the same color of the duct tape. Hi, Aussie Mom, welcome. And so the color of the duct tape is almost the exact same color as the box, because you're going to need some kind of heavyweight tape, because when you take this box apart, you need to reinforce the corners. So showing you on the first part. So I painted the box pretty much all the same color. And I should have had my oh, there it is, X-Acto knife. So the first thing you're going to do, now the lady that I followed on Your Book of Memories, she built the box from scratch using chipboard. Again, I'm really bad at making my own, so I'm basically just going to take a box apart. I'm just reading chat. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Susan. Yeah, the craft store that I normally go to, Class Act in Oshawa, she just happened to have this one pack in the wall, and she was selling it for, I think it's like $18 or something like that, with 40% off. So I was like, okay, well, if it has that many images, it's perfect, especially since everybody seems to love berries. So, okay, so the first thing you're going to do, obviously you don't want to get a box this big because it's quite tall. You want to get something with maybe a 2-inch spine or a 3-inch spine. Hi, Gil Burns. I'm not sure of your name. I can never remember it. Thank you. Good to know, Susan. I've never used their cardstock. This will be the first time, so it'd be interesting to see how it holds up on this kind of a craft. So this box here is approximately 3-inch spine, so it's going to be pretty chunky once you actually make it. So the other one, I believe, is a bit smaller. I think it's 2.5. No, that one is about 3.25. So this, okay, this one's the same size. Good to know. So it is the same size. It just looks, I guess it looks taller because it's a smaller box. So the box itself is going to be 4.5 by almost 7 inches. I would say 6.8. So I'm just going to write that down because I didn't take the measurements, because we're going to need to know the measurements once we start cutting the pages. So again, it is, to be exact, it is, okay, my ruler's dirty. No, I'm going to say, I'm going to calculate 4.25. 4.25. And it doesn't matter if it's off by a little bit. And I'm going to go with 6.75. So what you're going to do is, once your box is, either you use a painted box or you use a other kind of box that's already made, what you want to do is you want to go in the corner on 3 of the sides of the box, basically all 4 of them, and you want to open it up. You want to be able to lay it down flat. So I'm just going to gently score it in the corner as close as possible until it opens up. And watch what you're doing with the X-Acto knife, because you really don't want to hurt yourself. So I've got one corner done. Here's another corner. Okay, and there's the first corner, as you can see. Now, this one's painted, so it's not going to look as nice as the other one. But once the tape and everything is on it and the scrapbooking paper is on it, I don't think it's going to make a difference. Oh, not a problem, Mossy Mom. I appreciate you coming into mine, Elaine. So again, cut into this corner. And cut into the last corner. So you now have it opened down flat. And just kind of clean it up on each edge. And again, don't worry too much about the way you cut it, because it's going to be covered over with the duct tape. So I'm not worried about it because it's going to be finished off with the duct tape. So I just happened to be in the dollar store a couple of weeks ago and picked up duct tape, and I picked up purple for some odd reason. Couldn't remember why, but happened to have purple. But I got no more white. So hopefully I'll go and pick up some more later next week. Pick up some more white, pick up some black paper, now that I know that the 110 actually works. It's a little bit expensive. 100 sheets is about 15 bucks, but it's a heck of a lot better than buying it sheet by sheet, that's for sure. So the color match is actually pretty good. It's not too bad. One second, I seem to have lost something. All right, sorry about that. My gaming computer restarted got its own. Real dice. Okay, so so the next thing so the next step is you're going to want to take your lid and you're going to want to cut only 2 corners on one side of the box, not the whole thing, just one side. So you're going to cut one corner, and I'll be showing you why in a few minutes. And again, be very careful with the X-Acto knife, because mine's decided it doesn't like me anymore. Doesn't want to cut. Come on. There we go. Got it. Okay, and then the other side, the same thing. There we go. And just open it up like this on one side, because that is going to be what's going to be attached to your actual box. Just going to check. Yeah, okay. The other thing, the next step is you're going to want to, again, very carefully cut out this whole section following along on the edge of the box. So you are now left with something that looks like this. Yeah, I just have to break it off as soon as I find my pliers, because I'm pretty much done with that one. Here we go. Gonna need a fresh blade. I don't know if I have any more of these ones, so I'll have to go looking afterwards. Now you could keep this piece if you want, but to me, it'll just go in my stash of scraps. All right, so the first step is put the lid aside for the moment and go back to your box itself and to, yeah, that's what I just used. I just don't know if I have any other blades, because I think there's only like 4 or 5 steps. Yeah, see, this is the last blade. I would have to go looking for a new one after I use up that blade. Now, to find the top. Where are you? Bye, Kilburns. Have a good night. Take care, Aussie Mom. All right, so what you're going to do is basically now we are going to decorate each area of the corners. All right, I am going to do one step first. Give me a sec. The easiest way to clean off a blade or scissors that are full of guck and glue is to take a little bit of non-acetone nail polish and just run it with a, I don't know what you call these things, cosmetic pad, I guess, and just kind of clean off the blade so that it takes off all the guck of glue stickies and stuff like that. Makes it really easy. All right, let's leave that here for a moment. Okay. There we go. My knife cuts again. All right. All right, so the first step you want to do is very carefully measure out the knot, making sure that it still bends. So you're going to go just above the bend area and go about half an inch in. And then cutting it to the top of the box. Okay. Erasure. Okay. Always burnish it down because it's going to do it. And then turn it over and just kind of make it nice and neat on the other side as well. So now instead of getting a raw edge like that, see how it looks ugly? You've got a nice clean edge with the duct tape. And again, it's a little bit darker than the paint itself, but once you decorate it and everything, you'll see a little bit, but it'll all be color coordinated. With the other ones, I actually used white because white actually blended more with the background, but it should be fine. I'm noticing there's a little bit of duck on this duct tape, so I'm going to take a little bit of acetone and take it off. Non-acetone. All right, continuing on. So do that with basically all the corners. And you want to try and cut as straight as possible, which I'm not doing very successfully, but I try. Okay, on to the next one. I'm skipping the edges right at the moment because those are not needed. It's already got a finished edge and you don't want to add too much tape. This is the most tedious spot. And then cutting out the pages. Those are it. Once you get going, it's relatively fast. Okay, that might be a little bit short. Eggs. And of course, this one's okay. This one's gonna be stubborn. I'm just gonna pull this off. Okay. Duct tape is not the easiest thing to work with. I hate it with a passion, but it's the most nicest, especially when you're finishing. Especially if you can't get book tape. And of course, now that I'm on live cam, it's going to decide to be stubborn. Wendy, as soon as I get this box covered, I'll show you how to do the envelope because I know you've got an appointment this morning. And I know that that's the way. Fabric tape? I don't remember any fabric tape. I'll have to go through the box, but no, I don't remember any fabric tape at all. I know you put glue stick tape, like glue stick there for the origami paper, but I don't remember any. Yeah, there wasn't any tape in there. It's not the type of tape I would recognize. Because I know you sent the origami sheets and you sent the origami fabric and the Copic markers, but I don't remember tape. Nope, wasn't in the box. That I definitely would have remembered because fabric tape I would definitely have used. Now the inside of the box is not going to really matter too well how you get it because again, you're going to be covering it up with scrapbooking paper or cardstock or decorating it whichever way you want. So just try and keep it neat and less wrinkles and bubbles, but no, you sent me the papers, but no fabric tape. Yeah, Wendy sent me a huge box from Japan last year because she's stationed, she's over there on the military base in Japan. And she sent me a huge Christmas box filled with Copic markers and a bunch of stuff from their dollar store that looks like it came from a high-end regular store. It was just amazing, filled with to the rim with a whole bunch of goodies. All right, so that's basically it, guys. Now, this is where the box is going to open, and this is where the other part's going to come in. So what you want to do is you want to take the lid itself, and you want to attach it to the left-hand side of your box itself. Now, because this one is painted, I'm going to actually reinforce it with a bit more tape. only because I don't like these edges the way it is. So I am going to, oh, I have to do this a different way. Okay, so, all right, so you take one side of it, same as you did the corners. You take one side of it, and again, very carefully measuring it out. Yeah, you cut one side out of the lid. So the lid has, basically you have the 4 section. You're going to cut one whole strip area of it. And what you're going to do is, again, very carefully hold back the tape and attach the lid to the bottom of one of the sides. I like it on the left side. And it's going to be reinforced with the duct tape, and it's going to be reinforced with the scrapbooking paper. And duct tape, as you guys know, is extremely strong, so this thing ain't going to rip on your own. So, and do it on both sides. Yikes. See, that's the only problem, is sometimes it didn't. And there you go. So. And that pretty much closes up your box. And you now have a good start for your memory book. There are 2 more things which I'm going to do. Is also I'm going to reinforce the sides, like I said originally. And okay, I did it a bit differently. So here we go. Ugh. I hate. It's gonna have to clean again. And this is why. I always keep non-acetone nail polish remover. Buy them in the big bulks at Sally's. It just takes off all the, especially when you're using with the cutting foam or cutting duct tape. I mean, a paint thinner or something like that would work as well, but it stinks up the whole house. So yeah, I'll stick with the nail polish. Now I'm not going to do the outside because I think this is not, has never been cut. So it doesn't need to be reinforced. It still has the original paper. So it doesn't need to be reinforced on the outside. And this part's screwed up. There we go. Okay, now there's one more section you do have to reinforce, or beautify is the better way of putting it. And that is the tips of these corners right here. So this one here, I just cut out a piece of strip tape. I'm not sure if I'm in camera, but what you're going to do is you're going to take this side and attach it to the side here. And then just wrap it around so that, again, it makes, and I screwed up because I'm doing it sideways. And it could also be because my tape is all screwed up. Oh, I did a really good job of cutting this piece of tape. Not. All right, garbage, another piece. Let's try this again. Hopefully this time it's a little bit straighter. Looks a bit better. There we go. Much better. And of course it would screw up, but no biggie. Again, burnish, burnish, burnish. Make sure it sticks down quick. And there you guys go. It's all pretty much sealed, and all your edges are now not showing where you cut. I mean, and again, it's all going to be covered with scrapbooking paper, except this is the bottom, so you're not going to really see it, and that's pretty much it. Now, for your pages, what you want to do is, again, the box is 4.25 by 6.75, so you are going to cut out pages in that size. And I'm going to just double check something. So the 6.75 is good. And the 4.25 is going to be tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that down by 1/2 inch because you want to give it 1/4 inch on each side. So I'm going to do it at 4 inches. And actually, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Because that's going to go in 1/2 inch. Double check this box. Okay, so yep, that's there. The box itself is 7. It was 8. It is 1/4 inch. Okay, so yeah, you take 1/4 inch off. So the pages are going to be cut down at 4 by 6.75. Because then the pages themselves, I went with 9 point and that was 10. So it's going to be 4 by 6.5. So you take out 0.25 on your measurements. So basically now, this one's a little bit bigger on that. So when I look at it, I am going to be able to fit, and you measure in the 1/2 inch. And I'll show you what I mean by 1/2 inch. So you're going to do, it's going to be, it's 3 inches altogether, just over 3 inches, but you're going to cut your pages a 1/2 inch in. So you're going to be able to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages, possibly a 7th page, but it's going to have to be indented in. So 6 pages for sure, I believe. So this time around, okay, so the one's going to be here. I'm going to put it in the middle. All right, so 1/2 inch there. And just mark a little mark. And the reason being is because in that way, when you actually are putting the pages in, you'll be able to see where the page is supposed to go. Because my first attempt came out horrible, and my second attempt basically all came up crooked. So, all right, so now you've got them marked you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. Yeah, that's gonna be fine because it's gonna be on the inside. Okay, so put the box aside in a safe spot, and let's pull out some paper, and let's do some finagling here. All right. I am just going to grab my drink. It's on my other desk. I will be right back. And nope, it's not there. Where is it? Ah, there it is. I already put it on my desk. All right. So onto the pages now. Because this is a smaller, I'm just going to check some. So page, it's the applicant page, or this is letter size page. 8.5 by 11. So 8.5 by 11. All right, to do some of the flips and tucks, I think the best way of doing it, because you want to try and see if you can save some of the paper to do your tucks with. Take care, Susan. Thanks for coming. So take one page, first page, and you're going to cut it at, so it's going to be 6.75, 4 point this way. So you're going to cut it at 4 inches. By 6.50. Okay, and this will be your first page, and you can mark it as well, very lightly. So that'll be page 1. And you're going to repeat it for the amount of pages that you're going to need. So my box, again, double checking, needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. So we're going to cut 6 at the same size, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, because these are smaller, you can actually cut down the same piece of paper. Yep. Because it's 8.5 inches. Okay, and then 6.5. That's page 2. 6.53. I need a new blade. I know it's just, they're buried right now and I can't find them. I already went looking. So page 2, page 3. Okay. And then take another sheet and do the same thing, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently this time because they're all pretty much the same size. So I'm going to go at 6.5. Whole thing. And then 3 pages here. Okay, so then you've got, okay, so 3, page 4, page 5. Huh, wonder how come I got 2 pages out of the first one. Weird. And this is going to be page 6. All right, so now you're starting in with all the extra pieces that you want to go with, your tucks and flips and all that other beauty stuff. So you can pre-cut it if you want, if you know how many pages and tucks and flips that you're going to make, or you can cut it as you put the book together. Now, because I know Wendy has to leave, I am going to make the envelope page for her. So we know that the size of the page is going to be 4 by 6.75, sorry, 4 by 6.50. However, you're going to need a ½ inch to make the fold inside of the book. So in actuality, the page is, the envelope itself, maximum has to be is 3.75, no, 5.50. So 3.50 by 6 on the first one. Okay, so 3.50, so that's going to lose a ½ inch. Okay, so in actuality, I can actually, okay, so leave that one aside. On the second one, you're going to make the top of the flap about 3 inches high. Again, you're going to measure the way the book goes. So you want to be able to leave at least 2 inches to the top of the envelope, and I screwed this up. Okay, I forgot something. Okay, let's start this again. So you have to take into consideration that when you put the envelope, because it's 2 pieces, when you put the top piece to the envelope, you have to leave 0.5 inch or a quarter of an inch on each side to do the fold. So in actuality, you're going to need, the bottom piece is going to be, the top piece is going to be bigger than the bottom piece. So that one's not going to be good. So see how it's just a little bit on each end? This is going to be your bottom piece. This is going to be your top piece. So take the 2 of them together. So this is going to be your bottom. And this one's going to be your top. So, and on the top piece, you're going to cut about, you're going to want to go just below the half line. So maybe 2 inches. See how that looks? No, maybe 3 inches. Let's try 3 inches. So it's going to be cut at 3 inches. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. All right. So now showing you on, so you're starting with 2 pieces of paper. So starting on the scoreboard, it's the next step. And you are going to want to mark, put it as even as possible, and you're going to want to mark where you want the lines. So approximately, I know there's an easier way of doing it, but this is my way and it's just easier. All right, so doing it on here. So the first line is there. And you're going to, because you're using 110 paper, you're going to want to really press hard. You want to be able to see the marks. Do it on both sides, on the right and the left, and then you're going to also do it on the bottom. On this one here, again, when you measure it, you're going to want to make a flap. So the flap is going to be about halfway down. So make it, yeah, there you go. Might be the top part might be a bit too big, but that's okay. So you have the bottom piece is now scored in half or just above the half, because you want to be able to put the top piece so that it shows just underneath it. putting that away. Now, take the top piece and you are going to see where the bumpy part of the paper is. That's where you're going to fold. The indented plate piece is going to stay on the inside. So the bumpy part here is where you're going to cut, and on the, basically a triangle going at the two where the two pieces meet. You're going to cut a corner out on each side at the bottom. Then taking some score tape, and it's always a good idea to have some different measurements of score tape. I have a 1/4, a half, and a few others. And yes, I hear the timer. I'm just going to ignore it for a few minutes. It's not going to burn. And just basically fold it along, burnish it as you go along. Yeah, I know, Wendy. I'm ignoring it for the minute. So just ignore the beeper. It ain't gonna burn. Okay, this tape is really stubborn. I'm not too crazy about it. All right, be right back. Go turn that timer off. All right, so again, before you fold it, burnish it down really well. Just cut off any excess. Now, you put the tape on the bumpy side of your score. So what you're going to do now is you're going to fold it over on all three sides. Okay, take the piece, fold that over as well. I'm hoping you got it straight, which it looks like I didn't. But okay, burnish it down really well. And then before you attach it, I just find that sometimes it's easier, is see how there's a lot, like it's not going to give you much, it's almost too long on the top. So you're going to take it and you're going to cut it down a little bit. You're not going to need that much of a lip. Okay, and then just cut, use a corner rounder. Yeah, it'll work for now. Okay, so now, again, you've got, this is your flap. So you're going to take the pieces that you just burnished and you're going to attach the two together. Now, there are die cuts and things like that that you can buy that makes this all one piece. I just haven't bothered. I mean, this is just as simple and it's just as fun to do and it keeps me busy. Try and line it up right at the corner. There you go. Burnish it down. And there's your pocket or your envelope. Okay. It's a nice, beautiful, and it's nice and finished. And then just put a magnet or a closure. Can you see it now? Can you tuck it on the back side as well? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. But yeah, you can do it this way as well. Like, I mean, I'm sure you can put the flap forward or back. It's up to you. And then the next process would be to show you how to attach the envelope to the box or to the page as a flip so that you can use whatever you want in there. All right, so that's one piece done. Just put it to the side here. Exactly. You have the tabs taped. You have the tabs taped to the top side because this is your bottom piece. So the tabs will be tied to the top piece, to the back of the top piece, so that the top is the one that's attached to the bottom. Now you can do the envelope, you can do the tabs any way you want, but I found this is the easiest way of actually making the envelope. And you don't have to make a flap for it. You can keep it all one piece like this as well. And you can just put like a tag or something in it as well. So that one will join my other pieces here. Does that make sense to you, Wendy? Did you want me to make another one so I could show you again? Okay, so because I can make 2 or 3 of them, so that's perfectly fine. So I've got another sheet of paper, and I can use the bottom piece that I already had cut out. And these are actually the same size, so I need to cut the bottom piece a little bit. So again, this is going to be marked bottom, and I'm going to sliver a chunk out of this one. Just going to check the measurements. So it's 3.5. So it's going to take about 3 inches. So go with 3.5. Let's go at 3. And there we go. Okay. Again, taking my scoreboard, and I am going to take the top piece and mark where the two trying to center it as best as I can and mark the 2 edges. Again, pressing very hard so you make a really good mark. Okay, again, cutting the corners out. You're going to go in an angle on both sides. Fold it a little bit, just enough to give it the crease. Okay, and you're going to put the tape on the bumpy side of the paper. No, you can do it by hand, but I just find that the scoreboard is a lot easier because it makes that nice edge when you're bending paper. A lot of the times when you're trying, if you've ever tried to fold pieces of paper, especially when you've got this thin of a border, trying to do it by hand, it's really, really hard. So I prefer the scoreboard to anything. I take it you're going to need to buy that one, Wendy? Yeah, yeah. Sherry, are you able to do it without a scoreboard to make it that thin? Okay, the bottom one, I think I'm going to use a little bit of the wider tape. Now, I'm not being precise, so, you know, my sides are coming out a little bit thinner. On the one that I did make, I had it actually 1/2 inch so that it would use the 1/4 inch tape, making it a lot easier. Yeah, Wendy, the only thing is when you are looking for a scoreboard, which I found out with this one, and the reason I don't like it, let me give you a tip on if you're going to go looking for one. Give me a second. Let me finish this part. Same with anybody that wants to buy a scoreboard. Okay. Then you're definitely going to have to, when you get a chance, Sherry, to buy one. Okay. See how this one is a combination scoreboard and cutting board? Do not buy that one. Buy one that is a scoreboard only. And the reason being is because the hardest thing about me using the scoreboard is I do not have an edge to actually lean my paper against or go against the paper. I've got one at the top, but I don't have one on the side. So when I'm trying to take exact measurements, it's a pain in the butt trying to get it to the correct one. So if you're going to look for, I think it might be the Martha Stewart one that actually has a raw edge on this side of the scoreboard, and it's a bit smaller, so which makes it a lot easier so that when you're trying to score the paper, you have a nice clean edge both on a 45, 90 degree angle. So you have a good clean edge for this. So taking that one, and again, now that we've got the tape on it, and again, and I forgot to measure the top part, which is fine. So I'm just going to show you the difference as well too with me doing it. And again, just again, burnishing. Okay. Now, I didn't on purpose because I wanted to show you the difference, Wendy. Sometimes when you're trying to bend the paper, it doesn't always come out right. So that's the reason why I prefer using a scoreboard. But if you're really precise, you can work with the without having the scoreboard. I just find it when it's small areas like what I did on the edges here, it makes it a lot easier to have a scoreboard. Oh, you're good, Wendy. You're fine. And that's it. There's my second envelope made. And again, I take the corner rounder and I think it might be full. And I'm going to have to play around with this to see if I can get it to open. May end up breaking it, which is fine. Yeah, okay. It doesn't like me tonight. Doesn't need to be perfect. And that's basically it. So now, just to give you an idea, once you've got all the pages cut out, again, you take the scoreboard, and again, you're going to measure each one at a 1/4 inch. Trying to go as straight as possible. And again, if I had the other scoreboard, it would be a lot easier. The scoreboard is not the greatest. Unless I'm using it wrong. And people, if you see it that I am doing it wrong, let me know. Kathleen, it all depends. I usually make, on the pages, I'll make about 3 or 4 of them. And then those half ones that the tucks, those ones I'll make another 3 or 4. So I try and scatter flips and tucks and things like that. Okay, so that's all right. Let's reorganize this properly because I got a feeling I'm missing a page here. Okay, so that's page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing one. Uh-oh. Did I accidentally use a page that I wasn't supposed to? Oh, here's page 6. All right, so now take the 6 pages. Now, what you're going to do is, again, you're going to just lightly blend so that you have a little bit of a guide. Doesn't have to be precise, just lightly bend it, just to get you started. All right, and score tape them off. So, and you're going to do it again on the bumpy side. Now, I am doing this one a little bit different than the one that I made previous, so I may end up needing one more page. I'll know once I get these attached. Hi, Kathy. Welcome to my channel. No, I'll do the scrapbooking paper after I've attached the pages. And the reason being is because with all the tucks and flips, you could do it either way, honestly. Some people prefer doing the pages, the scrapbooking page on top before you attach the flips and tucks. But the lady that I watched, she was doing it afterwards. Oh, no problem, Kathy. because a lot of the times, the lady that I was watching, if you go to her video, and I think it's in my description, she'll show you, it's 3 separate videos, and she'll show you how she added in the scrapbooking paper after she made the pages. So basically, I now have the 6 pages. Going back to my box, and I start off with page 1. And what you're going to do is take the tape off, and you're going to take, I'm just going to make sure I'm in camera. Give it a minute. This year, please. It's got a delay, so I apologize, guys. All right, so it's on camera. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure, see how it's bent over here on page 1? You're going to make sure that you go up against, see how it bends on that? You're going to go up right against that bend. You're not going to go over it. You're going to go right on the edge so that it still opens free like this, but you would touch the page right on that line. And trying to make it straight, because that was my mistake with my other page. And test it if you have to. There you go. And then burnish it down really, really well. I'll put it as a link in the video description. It's called the name of it's called Album in a Box. And the lady that made that video is Your Book of Memories. It's called Album in a Box is the name of the title. So burnish it really well. Bend it. And again, bending it. Okay. Taking the next page. Okay. And doing the exact same thing. So this time what you're going to do with this page is you're going to bunt it right up against the previous page that's there. So flush against it. And down really hard. Burnish it, making sure that it's really on there. And again, and basically you're going to do that for each page. Again, bunt it up the sides. Over. And the last page. And yep, I'm off on my measurements, so I'm going to need to cut a couple more pages. All right, so just to give you an idea, now that I've got some pages in there, and again, work them in a little bit, stretching the paper. So it's going to stand up like that, but it's going to eventually all lay down flat. So when you close it, gives you an idea. Do the sides up first. Close it up. There you go. And once you decorate it, you're not going to see all the duct tape and all that other stuff in there. Okay, so now giving an idea, I could use, oh, I missed a page. It looks like I might be able to get least one more in there, possibly two. This piece of paper spare. Thank you, Kathleen. So 6.5. All right, so 6.5. Four, and possibly one more. All right, back to my scoreboard. I'm going to test out the last page. I'm not sure if it's going to work because you don't want to put it too close up to the edge because you don't want to interfere with the opening and closing of the box. Yeah, I'm working on the middle now, Kathleen. You'll have to go back to see how I broke the box apart to make it into a flat surface. But basically, I took a regular box from the dollar store, sliced it on each side, and opened it up like this. Square tape. And my little cutter. There it is. So it's just to show you to go back. I'll re-show it in a sec. So the way I did it is once I had all my papers cut out and I measured it and scored, then you're going to start right at the edge of the lip part on the side of the box over here. And you're going to start putting in the papers right up, but keeping this box, the lid topward, so it doesn't interfere with the paper when you open and close it this way. And then you continue putting it on the edge. Hi, Nathan. And you keep going section by section. Now, for some reason, this one's a little bit short, but no big deal. Again, I can hide it with the scrapbooking paper. Now, this is where I'm kind of a little bit, I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. It's going to be able to squeeze in one more page here. So I'll have to check, see if it'll work. Yeah, it looks like it might. Okay, let's try it out. You can always pull it off. It doesn't work because it's got duct tape on it. Now, ideally, you should be using, when you're doing these pages, and I should have done it and I didn't think of it, and I might go back and do it, I should have used the red tape to put it down, which is what I did in the Boo book. I didn't think of doing it for this book. And there you go. So you now have Yep, and it does not, it opens and closes properly. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The other book had 7. So this one I actually managed to get one more page into it. And when you open it, it lays nice and flat. And the next step is to start making the inserts and everything. But you're going to have to excuse me for a moment to talk amongst yourselves, because I've got to get the food out of the oven. Perfect. My chicken is done. So we have about another half an hour here, guys. So does anybody have any questions of anything that I've been doing so far? Okay, so I guess not. So basically, it's, something nice and neat, and, it's like a little memory journey. You can use it as a journal. You can use it as a photo album. You can decorate it any way, which way you want. So, if I take one of these sheets, cut it down a little bit, the idea here is to, so it'll be done like that. You can maybe use some washi tape at the top, washi tape down here, or possibly, cut it down to this section here. So this is not, actually, it's not going to be too bad. Actually, these papers might be too small for this book, because I'm not really liking, but I mean, again, you can adapt it so that it makes a frame in the middle and use it maybe with some other different backgrounds for the top and the bottom. And you can also use it with the flip. So just showing you how to do a flip. Again, taking a fresh piece of paper. Yeah, they make all these complicated spine hinges and spines and hidden spine and all. And I was like, okay, fine and dandy, but, unless you're going to have kids actually playing around with this thing, you don't need to make it as thick and complicated as some of these albums are being made. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying you don't need to have it that thick. Exactly, Julia. That is perfect as a cookbook, and that people, especially with all the little tucks and envelopes that are in there that you can just throw in, maybe a family member comes over and says, here's an idea for your book. Well, instead of having to figure out where on the page and everything, just throw it into one of the envelopes and it's there forever. So I'm going to double check the size, because the last two that I cut, no, it is 6.5. I may have just measured it incorrectly. My eyesight's going. What else is new? I'm getting old. People, I'm getting old. Okay, so 6.5. Now, when you are doing the inside tucks, one thing to keep in mind is that you want to stay away from any of the creases. This section in here, you want to stay away from the edge. So you're going to go in a little bit on both sides. So what I did is I took 0.25 off each side of the paper. So instead of it being 4 inches, I am going to go with 3.75. So the first one is going to go at 3.75. 1, 2, 3. You're still going to do the same height because that's not going to change. What? Oh, no, wait, I'm wrong. Okay, because I forgot you have to do you have to take into consideration the hinges. So you have to add in 0.25 per side. So on each side. So it's going to still be, yeah, it's still going to be the same size. It's still going to be 4 inches because then it's going to take half an inch off. Okay, so I'm going to cut 2 sheets at 4 inches. And now the piece that's left over, go half and half. So it's 6.50, so I can go 3.25. And I will show you what to do with it in a bit. Okay, you've got those 2. Let's see if I got any more scraps here that I can use, and I think I've used them all. Yeah, these are kind of a little bit too narrow. Okay, the next sheet will do it. Okay, so on these 2 sheets then, what you're basically going to do is the exact same thing that you've been doing with all of them. So you are going to score the first one at 1/4 inch on one side. So see how I did the scoring on the right side of this one? For the second page, you're going to do it on the left side. Doesn't actually really matter either because you can turn the paper around before you put it down. So never mind what I just said. Just ignore it. All right. So then you are going to take this sheet. Again, you're going to use score tape. Yeah, I was actually thinking of that's an excellent idea if you get the correct paper pad, which I might have. And that was another idea that I was thinking for the auction. Because wedding paper I have tons of Christmas and tons of wedding, because those are the 2 things that I seem to do a lot of this time of year. I mean, and it doesn't cost much. The box is $1. A roll of duct tape is $1. And then the only thing that cost a lot was the paper pack, and that was $15. But I'm sure you guys can get it a bit cheaper down there, because I got the 110 heavyweight scrapbooking paper at Michael's. Again, burnish the tape, make sure it sticks. Now, this is where the key is going to come in. So take your first sheet, take the tape off. Oh, no, score it, bend it a bit. Then take the tape off. And what you're going to do is very carefully, see on the first section, you are going to lay that right to the edge without getting the interference. So you're going to, again, bend it a bit. It looks like it's a little bit off. Not quite sure why. There we go. So now you have it open like this. I'll cut that off after. So now you have it. So that's your first page is your original right here. And this is the one, the section, the first flip that you added to it. Laying it flat, take your second piece of paper. And you are going to attach it, again, the same way, but on the opposite side of the page. So instead of it being on this side, you're now going to go on the right side. Again, going right to the edge, because this one's not going to interfere with anything, so you can go right to the edge of the paper. And putting it down as straight as possible. And okay, I forgot something, but that's okay because this one has an extra page. So I'll do it on the next one. And I can't see. There we go. And there is your first flip. So the page now closes. It's a little bit wonky. Okay, so you got one page that goes in and there. And then you can put a magnet closure. You can put a little bit of the Velcro, whatever way you want, but that's going to be your closure. And then to add in more pages, use the exact same idea. And I forgot to score this one. Okay, and the way you're going to add in is the exact same way you're going to add in these pages. So I'm going to put a flip over here. Trying to center it. There we go. There you go. Now you've got two flips for in the middle of the book as well. And that closes in, and then eventually, and that'll be your first full page. Now on the original book, I made it a little bit different. I had an envelope, but we can still put the envelope on it. Just do it afterwards. And that's basically it. And then just continue adding flips or adding envelopes to the book, and until you make it a little bit different for each page. And that's basically it. Anybody else have any questions? If not, leave a comment down below. You can email me. I'm on Facebook. I'm pretty much on anything. So I'm going to bring up the camera here. And then I'm closing it up. And I will finish working on it and decorating it. And that's basically it. So if anybody has any questions, I'm on Facebook, or pretty much you can get a hold of me. I'm in a lot of the live streams as well too. So have a good night, everybody. Appreciate you watching me. I've been here for 2 hours, and yes, I'm going to go and eat because now my shaking has gotten a little bit crazy. Welcome back, Zoe, but I am just getting off, so I'm pretty much done. And if you need to get a hold of me or have any questions, just get a hold of me on Facebook. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.